In every game, player needs to interact with the environment. Interaction with the environment can be done by using an interface. Simply, we can say that the interface is the key to bring player into the game's world. That's why interface is very important component of your game, which is gonna make the player feel inside or outside of the game's world. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel where I like to talk about game development. I hope you are doing well and everything is going well too. Today, we're gonna see how to implement many interface for any game object which you might need. So, let's get started if you are ready. We're gonna see how to create basic interface which the player can interact. We're gonna do that in a way that you can implement this picture to any of your game object, such as opening door, switching controls, talking NPC, using weapons, etc. As an example, we're gonna have 3 different boxes and menu for each one. To be able to use interactive menu, we need to create an interactive object class. This class is gonna help us to understand which object in the game has a menu. The class is so simple. It has only one function, which is get menu items. And the type of the function is virtual. That means we can override this function from another class, which is gonna be inherited from this one. In the previous class, in the get menu items, we are returning list of interactive menu item. Now we need to define that. This class has 3 different properties. Title for the menu title, action for the method of the menu, and finally, key code of the menu to understand when we need to call method for the menu. That's all for this class. This is the first example of the interactive object. We're gonna have 2 more. But I'm not gonna show them here, because they are gonna be the almost same, just with a different amount of the menu items. So, let's start with the blue box. We need to inherit this class from the interactive object that we already defined. Then, we are using same method which we have defined before as a virtual, but this time we are using override keyword. This means each time this method called, override method is gonna run. So we are defining a list of the menu items. Then we continue to define interactive menu item. You can set all properties as you wish. Finally, we are adding menu to the menu items list and returning it. Now we need an interactive menu class which is gonna help us to detect and display menus in the game. We are starting by defining variable for the layer. This layer is gonna be the layer which we're gonna assign for the objects which we wanna have interactive menu. Then we continue with the distance. We're gonna use distance to decide how far player should be from the object to be able to see the menu. We continue with the variables which we're gonna use to create menu. Finally, we are defining some private variables which we're gonna need while creating menu. Is menu displaying to mark if the menu is visible or not, active menu to set which menu is active, and menu item prefab as a menu template for creating menus. We're gonna need a method which is gonna help us to handle mouse move. So by this we can understand if the mouse is on the top of the object which has menu. In this method, we are using physics raycast to understand if the mouse top of any object in the game. Simply, we are sending ray from mouse to the game world. We are checking if the object contains interactive object component. So by this, we can understand that this is interactive game object which has menu. Also, we are using distance and layer mask for sending ray. Distance for how far player should be away from the object, and the layer mask to set which layer should be included. We don't need all layers to calculate if there is a hit. That's why we are setting only one layer. After that, if we have interactive object component, we are checking some conditions to display menu. We have to have interactive object and not displaying any menu, or we have to have interactive object and different menu than which we are displaying. If one of these two conditions is valid, we are displaying menus by calling display menu function and setting active menu and mark this menu displaying variable as true. If none of the conditions above are valid, and if we are not displaying any menu and active menu is empty at the same time, we are hiding menu and setting active menu variables as a null and mark is menu displaying variable as false. We continue by the display menu method. This method accepts one parameter, which is the list of the menu items. Firstly, we are setting menu panel interface visible, and after that, we are setting active menu items from the menu items which we are receiving as parameter. Inside the for loop, we are creating interactive menu item class for each menu item. After creating menu item game object, we are getting control of the text mesh pro and setting text value of it as the title of the menu. And then we are setting position of the menu item. Each menu item is gonna be below the previous one. Finally, we are calling method which is gonna locate menu on the screen. In the hide menu method, we are setting variable as null and hiding the menu interface and then destroying all menu item game objects. In the handle input method, first we are checking if there are any active menu items. If not, we are returning from the method, because there is nothing to display. If we have active menu items, we are checking all the key down events if there is any matching with the input that we are getting from the player. If there is, we are invoking the method of the menu item and hiding menu interface. In the locate menu, we are getting position of the mouse and setting Z value of the mouse to the camera's near clip plane. Then we are converting mouse position from screen to the world point, and then we are converting again. Then we are creating new vector 2 to position menu interface. And finally, we are setting this position to the anchored position of the menu interface. So we have finished coding part. Let's turn back to Unity for the interface. We start by creating a canvas. We are changing properties to scale with the screen. Then we are creating a panel and name it as menu and resize it as we wish. Then we are adding vertical layer group component to the panel. This component is gonna help us to arrange menus items vertically. Inside the menu panel, we are hiding Text Mesh Pro control. We're gonna use it as prefab for generating menus. Now, we are adding interactive menu component to the player. We need to add a new layer for the menu. We are adding and name it as interactive. We're gonna use this layer for any object that we want it to be interactive. In the interactive menu component, we are selecting the layer which we have created. Then we are setting related component as it's shown here. As you can see, we have 3 different boxes. We are adding their own component to each one, which we have created. It is same as blue box, but with different menu items and different names. And we are changing their layers to the interactive, because we want to use them as interactive object and display menu for each of them. Now we can test. Let's see the result. As you can see, menus are not visible at the beginning. It is because of the distance which we have set. But once we get close enough, as you can see, menus start to be visible. If we click the keyboard buttons which we have assigned for the menu, you can see that related methods are calling and results are displaying in the console. You can use any method which you want. It doesn't have to be console messages. You can use this feature in your game and have interactive objects. You can change the design to have prettier menu interface. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If there are some suggestions to make these videos better, please share them with me in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Thanks again. See you.